All right, so Ada was asking what an A record is with hosting. Again, I don't know the technical terms, but for example, with GoDaddy, if you go in and you change the A record and you put in the IP to the site you're using, it will it will connect the site and it will show that you're using like GoDaddy's name server, even if it's not hosted with GoDaddy. Okay, so that's what changing the A record is. With us now using more regular hosting, I wouldn't even worry about A records because you can just kind of use the regular hosting name server, so you won't even have to really mess with A records unless you're still using SEO hosting. Remember, SEO hosting is still fine to use from what I'm seeing. I see people still doing fine with it, but you have to mix it in with other hosts. Like you can't keep sending links from the same hosting company, like we were doing with SEO hosting. So for the most part, I wouldn't even worry about A records anymore because that was more like an SEO hosting thing where we were switching it up with that. And then she said, I've also heard mention a C series or C record. Okay, I think you're talking about C class IPs, Ada, and when you get an IP, it's like 1.2.3.4. This is your A class, this is your B class, this is your C class, and this is your D. So what they're saying when you want different C class IPs is you would want just that third number to be at least the third number to be different. So like 6.4, that would be fine, even though everything else is the same because it's a different C class. But you want them as different as possible. And when you get different hosts, you really get different IP ranges. And of course, you're also getting different hosts, which we know we now know is important. But that's what C class is. C class is like the third number in the IP address. But technical stuff like the reasons behind, I don't know a ton about it. All right, from Ada here. Yes, that's right about Tor. There was a patent released saying I believe it said like the Google has the permission to track like the IPs of where people are posting from. I don't think they have it in effect yet, and I don't think they will for a while because they got some lawsuits going on with privacy. But that's just like a just in case thing. I think Tor helps mask your IP like each time you post. You can also, and that's just if you want to be extra safe. You can also use just regular IPs like when you're posting, and there's tools for that. But honestly, I don't worry too much about that yet. I don't even use Tor every time I post. I don't think it's an issue yet. Um, but soon I might start using because I heard Tor might not be that good to use. That's the word I'm getting. Like it might not properly hide you anyways. I'll have to look into it, but I don't think it's a rush yet. I don't think they're necessarily tracking that yet. Because if they were, it would be a mess. Like people would be complaining all over the place about sites going down, all that. So it's not an issue yet, and I don't think it will be for a little while. But pretty soon we might start posting from like different IPs just to be extra safe. But I'll update you if that happens. And for anyone that just got on, I started a little early today because I gotta try to run out a little before 11. And again, if we go over, I can always schedule another session. I had something come up last minute I gotta attend. All right, from Ada here. Yeah, it's kind of like that, Ada, except you actually don't want drop downs. But I know what you're thinking, and yes, like you have a category, and then you have subcategories under. That's how a silo works. But actually, when you silo your site, having drop downs supposedly bleeds PageRank, from what I'm told from the Network Empire group, and they know their stuff. So yeah, you're right as far as the idea. Like it's kind of like drop down menus where you have a main topic and then you have categories under that, like subtopics. That's what a silo is. It's like categorizing your site, but you actually, funny enough, don't want to use drop downs because um, it bleeds your page rank. So if you had if you had a silo called like investing, and then under that you had gold investing, stocks, bonds, stuff like that. You actually wouldn't want this to be a drop down. You would just want it to say investing, and then when they click on investing, you would want these three pages to show. Okay, like on the sidebar or whatever. So you actually wouldn't want the drop down if possible. Now I do have sites with drop downs and it works fine, but supposedly it does hurt your bleed your page rank a little bit, which can just affect your rankings a little bit. So you'd want these 3 pages to show on this page when you go to it. All right. So anyone that wants to know about investing, they click on this page and they see the 3 investing pages. That's kind of how a silo works. All right, from Ada. I mean, the way I look at it is, if it's in the top 10,000, it's a very, very high quality. 10,000 to 50,000 is high quality. 50 to 100 is medium to high. 100 to 500,000 is like medium. 500 to maybe a couple million is like medium low. And then above that's, it starts getting lower. That's kind of the way I look at it. From Cali. You know what, Callie? I haven't had as much of a problem with social properties. It's interesting you bring that up. Yeah, like the links we have like for the Nashville SEO properties, we still have plenty on the first page, and they have a lot of links from the same PBNs. So I think they're getting a different set of rules. Like the video is still number 1, Facebook's number 3. The Yelp's number 6 or number 7, whatever that is. I think we got 2 more up here. Yeah, we got 11 and 12 here. So it seems like the high domain authority are still getting away with it for some reason. So I'm glad you brought that up. But at the same time, Callie, I wouldn't keep doing it. It's just a matter of time before they hit that as well. All right, from Ada. Yes, it should still be considered, but from what I'm told again from Network Empire, image links don't get as much juice. I believe they get like 2/3 the juice, if I remember correctly. But yeah, they should definitely still be counted. And I actually almost count them the same because I mean it's still a link, but I might just give them like just a very small demotion. Now, if it's like a site that has like all image links, then you got to consider it more. Okay. And again, WMT is Webmaster Tools, Google Webmaster Tools. From Ada. Oh yeah, it can easily be transferred out, Ada. I actually transfer most of my Network Solutions domains to GoDaddy now, and I'll transfer some of them to like Namecheap. But I transfer a lot of them to GoDaddy because I'm starting to use more like fake whois information on my. I'm starting to mix in fake whois information. And GoDaddy is the place where you can easily do that. I'm not even sure if you can do it other places, but GoDaddy you can put in fake whois information pretty easily. And I'm liking mixing that in. So all my domains I get from Network Solutions, I transfer over to GoDaddy and I use them as fake whois now. Because I'm mixing in, fake whois, private whois, and also privacy, of course. So, all right, let me go get a new screenshot here. All right, from Michael. Um, I, I, I wouldn't necessarily say duplicate the site, Michael. But duplicate like the keywords you're ranking for on a different site, if that makes sense. Like you don't want to like take the same site and just put it on another site like with the same content, but you can take the same topics and totally rewrite everything. You get what I'm saying? So just kind of instead of thinking of it as like duplicating the site, think of it as duplicating the keywords. Like just do a totally new site, but target the same keywords and the reason you want to do that is because you know what keywords are working. You already have a site that's doing well. You know what keywords are working for you. So make a new site and start with the best keywords, get those, and trickle your way down to the ones that make less. And just kind of do it on a whole new platform. You can even do like a totally different approach if you want to kind of test two things. But the important thing is that he's talking about is the keywords. Like it's people underestimate the power of like good keywords. Once you find keywords that work and can make you money, and that's the reason with like e-cigs why I did so many e-cig sites is because I knew which keywords worked. And I still do, but I'm kind of backing off the e-cig market right now because it's pretty competitive and there's so much money elsewhere. But yeah, since you know the keywords, I would just say duplicate the keywords on a different site more than duplicating the actual site. From Kevin. I mean, it depends what your goal is, Kevin. If you got like a lot of local clients, I would say actually more or less powerful PBNs because you don't need them to be powerful. Actually, in most cases, I would say having more or less powerful, because you can still go after long tail and stuff. And just the fewer PBNs you have, like the less sites you can target, especially now with with the recommendation of theming and all that. So I would actually say in almost all cases more PBNs that are less powerful. From Cali. I mean, no one really knows Cali if having analytics gives Google a head up on all your money sites and all that. But I would say if you're going to use it, just create different accounts for sites because you don't want like all your stuff on one single account. That's just way too risky. From Ada. Yeah, yeah, I would still do your money sites on different IPs, Ada. But yeah, when you're doing your PBNs, you don't really need to change the name servers because if you're using the hosting like I recommend, like where you're using regular hosting now, because if you're using a different regular host, I mean, you're going to have different name servers each time. And also, it's going to help you blend in again because a lot of people use those name servers. Like when you get a shared hosting account, like a regular hosting account where all your sites get put on the same IP, there's a lot of other people on there using those name servers because you kind of fit in. Yeah, and just pay attention right to the mix and matching of PBNs and money sites, right? Oh no, I mean my site's being affected. I'm not worried about all Ada. That's testing data. I quickly rebuilded. I already have tons rebuilt. And I just can't be that public anymore about my sites. I'm surprised Calcast lasted as long as it did, just because it was a five, I mean a six-figure site pretty much. It might have made seven figures over the time that I had it, and it was in the public eye for so long with a large PBN point to. I'm surprised it even lasted that long, to be honest. I knew it was going to go down one day. From Noel. Yeah, I mean, supposedly Todd is working on some stuff where you can use his hosting company, just his. But I don't know the technical aspects. For now, I'm just using different regular hosts to be safe. From Kevin. I would say it's better to have the main keyword in the URL because that's hard to change. The title is very easy to change, so I don't think they give the title as much credit. I actually know they don't. But yeah, I mean, having it in the title, of course, helps. But I would do the main keyword in the URL, then like LSI in the title, if you have LSI for the keyword. From Ada. A snapshot HTM. I'm not sure, but I mean, if it's coming from somewhere that has high domain authority, high page authority, and good Alexa, yeah, it's probably a good link. I wouldn't worry as much about page rank. From Ada. I don't think you mean de-index. Probably just wasn't there anymore. Not necessarily, because I mean, if it has like a lot of good links and it has just a couple that even if it was if you did mean de-indexed, if it has like a whole bunch of good links and just a couple de-indexed, those aren't going to set it off. But if it had like 10 links and 5 of them were de-indexed, yeah, that's probably going to cause some problems. Okay. So from Kevin, I still buy irrelevant PBNs. And look, guys, I mentioned about um, I recommended not buying expired domains for money sites anymore. The reason I'm do that, I said that, is just because, first of all, I thought that relevancy played a bigger part than it did. I don't think it played as big of a part. I think what happened is most of the people I knew had repurposed domains, expired domains they used for money sites that were totally irrelevant. And most of the people I knew got hit because they were using large PBNs to power, sites in the same niche. So a lot of those people got hit. But I'm still seeing a lot of irrelevant expired domains ranking well. So it's obviously still working. I would just be a little careful with it because it seems like they're moving towards fighting that. So if that makes sense, so it is still working from what I'm saying, but I would just be careful with it, and I just don't want to recommend it anymore. Just to because there's no real reason to use it with the risk involved, and new sites are doing fine, especially when you have a keyword in the domain. Even if it's just like a little inkling to Google what the site's about, those type of sites are doing very well right now. Like electronic cigarette niche, it's like all EMD, partial EMD type sites ranking now for the most part. So it's not that they're not working like I originally thought. It's more that I think they're moving towards fighting that off. So just be careful with it, and I'm just not comfortable recommending it anymore, that's all. Alright, from Glenn. Yeah, anchor text is the link text, Glenn. So anytime there's a link, whatever that link says, that's anchor text. From Neil. I haven't, Neil. Cotton or Fletch would be the person asked about that. I'm not as up to date about the 7 pack as I'd like to be. I'll probably get up to date this weekend at OMG Live because I think Cotton's going to be covering that. But for right now, I'm not as up to date on the 7 pack as they are. So you can ask that in Facebook or in Fletch's group or anything like that. From Ada. Yeah, I mean, a siloed URL is just something that's organized. So again, in this case here, it'd be like gregsite.com/investing/gold, okay, or gregsite.com/investing/bonds. Okay, it's like categorized. All right, this would be the silo, and this would be the subcategory. From Ryan. Yeah, I would send more social signals, Ryan, and also I wouldn't send all. When my sites get stuck, especially like in local niche, like if I'm doing like Delaware plumbers, you have like plumbers in Delaware, stuff like this. I'll start mixing in general keywords like plumbers, maybe stuff like Delaware business, stuff that isn't like exactly your keywords, like it's a part of it. All right, so just kind of try to mix in more general stuff and see if that helps you some, because that seems to be really helping. That's in the stringing video I did. So see if that works for you. From Callie. I actually don't use it with subdomain or anything, Callie. Just install it on your money site, and whenever you make a post, it will automatically start creating social signals of that post. You can also use it on your PBN. It will, boost up your PBN post a little bit, which goes to your money site, and it'll also help it get indexed quicker. So you can actually use it on both. From Eric. Social Explosion, you can get in the Project J members area. It's in the PBN Reloaded section, under the Network Empire section. From Clint. I actually haven't took it that far yet, Clint. My favorite part about that tool is my tool, the tool he built for me, which analyzes PBNs. I mean, that tool alone for me is worth like 50 times the price of what he's charging to get in, just because it gives you so much data. Like, you don't have to go look at each link individually. Like, I can literally look at all the PBNs I need to look at in like 2-3 hours, opposed to like a full 2 days. You know what I mean? So it just saves me so much time that that one tool is worth it to me. I haven't looked as deep into the other tools yet. I just kind of messed around with it a little bit. So that's the main tool that I've used so far. But I'm digging more into it now. From Michael. I mean, you can put an LLC after it, or like whatever type of business it is, or maybe you can get the accounts he already set up from him. I wouldn't say it's like super important how the exact business. I mean, I guess it could be. Branding it isn't my specialty. But I mean, just do what you can. If you can't get the exact name, just put something after it. I mean, that's all you can really do. Glenn, when I repeat the questions, it drains me and it takes much longer. So I'll try to repeat them like a little bit, kind of give an overview, but the sessions would go about twice as long, and I wouldn't get through all the questions. All right, from Eric here. We're unsure, Eric, because it just hasn't been long enough. We don't know how they're going to react to that yet. So I mean, it's hard to say if you can kind of dilute those links with more links from other hosting companies or not, because we just haven't had enough time to see what's going to happen with that yet. So I'm not totally sure. We just don't have that data. From Neil here. What GoDaddy hosting service? I mean, I've just been signing up for hosting companies that allow me to have add-on domains, and then you pay like $8 a month, something like that, where you can add as many domains as you want, and then of course each domain has to go to a different money site. I haven't used GoDaddy yet, so I don't know what they offer. From Eric. Yeah, and I just went into again expired domains for money sites, Eric. Hopefully you heard that. Excuse me. But yeah, that was my explanation. Is that they're still working, but just be careful with it. And I'm not gonna recommend it anymore. From Ada. Yeah, so if the link's no longer on a site, Ada, the site that was getting that link no longer gets that juice. I mean, there is a delay in effect now. There's a delay for new links where when a site gets a new link, it's going to take a while to kick in. There's also a delay in the opposite direction. When a link gets taken down, there's actually a delay in it losing that link juice. So, like when you take down a link from a PBN, the site you're linked to, just to give an example, would probably still rank for about a month and a half from that link power, and then it would start like fading away. From Eric. Yeah, I mean the way we make PBNs relevant is through the content. That's just the best we can do. I mean, you could send other links to the site with relevant anchor text, but that's just so much more work doing that, or we can just make the content more relevant. So yeah, just change the content, Eric. That's the way I'm doing. It's working great. From Cali. Cali, I mean that the Kraken software, vKraken. Actually, I don't know if that's vKraken, but the software you're talking about, it depends what you're trying to do. I mean, what kind of projects you're trying to do. I mean, I personally siloed my stuff out myself, and some people love that freaking tool. Like they love it, and they couldn't do without it. So I think it just depends what type of person you are and what type of sites you're doing. If you're doing like smaller local sites, I mean, you definitely don't need it. But if you're doing like large affiliate sites, it could be very, very useful. No, and you would just want to talk to Network Empire about that further. From Eric. A link called DAF. I don't remember that, Eric. I don't remember what DAF is. If I said it, I don't remember what it is. All right, from Michael. I mean, you can rank it the same way. I mean, I would be careful like using the exact same PBNs to rank it, but you can still rank it the same way. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think what he's talking about a clean footprint is I wouldn't use like all the exact same PBNs and all that. But other than that, you're fine. You'll be fine with that. From Eric. I mean, technically, Eric, probably adding social posts to a money set all at once would be fine, but if possible, stagger them, I would say. But it's probably fine to add them all at once. I usually go the staggering route if possible, though, just because I think it's safer. From Eric. Does adding pictures? Oh, and that links. Yeah, supposedly adding more content can help, Eric, but at the same time, if you think about it, there's so many sites out there that don't add content. Look, I mean, the way I look at it is if it's a site that's going to be getting a lot of PBNs, I'm going to be mixing in PBNs that do have that type of thing, Eric, where, I'm adding more content and stuff like that, but if it's like a local site, it's just getting like 2, 3 PBNs, I'm not really that worried about them just having 1 or 2 pieces of content on them. Because it's just a couple links, but as I start getting up in PBN use, I'll probably start mixing in more and more stuff like like PBNs with more content and all that. Okay. From Bob. I'm not sure, Bob, about conflicts of SynWire and Social Explosion. I also don't know what SynWire does exactly, but I mean, if it's similar to Social Explosion, it should just work with it. You know what I mean? It should just be extra links. But I don't know exactly what SendWire does, so it's hard to say. From Cali. Yeah, Cali, I don't know the technical stuff. Again, as long as your stuff is on different IPs, that's what I care about. Okay, so I wouldn't like I can't go into the technical stuff because I'm not technical. The thing I worry about is that all my stuff is on different IPs. From Eric. It's actually pretty normal nowadays, Eric, to be 5 weeks in and possibly be back that far. It depends on. Okay, you said a pretty large city. Yes, I would say that's competitive keyword in a large city. That's definitely normal, Eric. A new just 5 weeks in. Most of these links you put in probably haven't even kicked in halfway yet. So I would say just continue the way you are, and you're doing fine. Especially ranking in the top 10 pages for a competitive keyword in a big niche, or I'm sorry, a big city. I wouldn't be worried being there after just 5 weeks. From Neil. We have a video on that in the members area, Neil, on how to set up fake information on GoDaddy. And the reason that's allowed is because people host client sites all the time. Like, you know what I mean? If a client tells me, hey, Greg, I want this domain, I go register it, I'm going to put that information in their name. That's the reason GoDaddy allows you to do that. From Michael. I mean, really, any of it, Michael. It's just, with EMDs, you got to be more careful with over optimization. I really like partial match domains, where it has like a general keyword in there to help Google identify what the site's about. But I mean, branded domains can work good too. But right now, EMDs that are done right, and especially partial match domains right now are just killing it. From Cali. Okay, I wouldn't spam anything with Fiverr anymore. If you're going to spam something, I would use GSA. Make sure you're doing it right. Like the way Jimmy teaches, where you're cultivating your own link list, or you're at least getting a link list from somewhere where like not a ton of people are using it. But I wouldn't necessarily use Fiverr anymore. I think they really cracked down on the big Fiverr users or the big Fiverr gigs. So I would either go with PBNs or GSA the way Jimmy teaches it. From Kurt. I'm still doing anchors to EMDs pretty much the same way, Kurt. Like I've showed before. Um, if you got NashvilleSEO.org, I'm being a little more careful now. I might start with like NashvilleSEO.org, like a URL link. Then I might do like something like SEO in Nashville, Tennessee. Then maybe something like Nashville, Tennessee, search engine optimization services, something like that. And then depending on where it moves from there, I might do something more general again. Like, and this is, just an extra safety layer. You wouldn't have to do this. Maybe like Tennessee SEO company, something like that. And then back to like getting back on track with our keywords in there. And start moving slowly towards my keyword. So still the same way, except adding in more safety layers. Like, a URL link off the bat, maybe a more general term in here. From Tommy. I personally don't do any more than 3, Tommy. Like usually like the home page and 2 inner pages, and that's the absolute most that I usually do. Usually it's just 1, maybe 2 from Ada. Yeah, just worry about the site, Ada. Don't worry about the page. As long as the page is still there when you go to it, that's all I care about, and the site's still indexed. Um, and actually, I don't even check like for de-indexing of the links going to my PBNs, because you can usually tell by the link profile, if they're healthy links from natural type sites that fit the bill, then de-indexing is almost never a problem. So don't worry about like that like don't go that deep into it, Ada. Just go on the surface level where you're looking at the link quality. Okay, don't worry about like de-indexed links or missing links and all that stuff as much. As long as the page is there with the link on it, that's what I worry about, and the links look healthy. Just don't make it too complicated, is what I mean. From Heather. No, shared hosting companies like HostGator don't do unique IPs, Heather, and that's why we only use one hosting company per link. Okay, so you can like get a shared hosting account with HostGator and put multiple PBNs on it, but each of those PBNs would have to link to a different money site. Okay. From Neil. I would actually recommend a niche that or a niche that you have experience with. Because if you go to, like, when I first started, I remember I tried to, like, go into, like, mesothelioma, because it was, like, supposedly, like, the big money keyword, and not only was it impossible to rank, because everyone was trying to do it, but I also knew nothing about it, so I lost interest very quick. So I would say start with something that you have interest in. From Eric. Yeah, you can do that, Eric. You can do a video in a different city, and it's fine. I have accounts where I have videos like that for like hundreds of cities, and they've been up for years. So. From Eric. I mean, I guess it probably depends on the quality of the classified site, and also how many of them you have. Like if you have like tons of classified online classified links, it might hurt you. I don't know because I haven't really used them. So I'd really say it depends on like the quality of the sites and how many you have. Because I haven't personally really used them in a long, long time. From Susan. Yes, Susan. When you're doing stringing, different money sites. So chiropractor will be on one PBN, and then something like Dallas, Texas, will be on another PBN, or like Dallas, Texas service, something, whatever, or in Dallas, Texas, like you said. But yeah, different PBNs for each anchor. From Kevin. If all the keywords fluctuate a lot, I usually just don't worry about it, Kevin. I wait till they settle down. Usually it's just like a shake up. So just wait till they settle down, see where they land. Try not to worry about it too much until they settle. Because when they're fluctuating like that, it's kind of impossible to pinpoint something because they keep going up and down. So I usually just wait until they settle and then make a decision from there. From Slav. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, Slav. Using a PBN to link to 2 money sites. I just wouldn't keep repeating the pattern. You know what I mean? Like, don't link to money site A and B over and over and over again on your PBNs. Mix in different sites in there, link to just one of them. Make sure you have outbound authority links, stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely link to multiple money sites together on PBNs. You just gotta be careful of the pattern, patterns of doing that. Come on, Zoom. There we go. Alright, from Ada. Nothing wrong with a hyphen, Ada. You just wouldn't want a domain with tons of hyphens, that's all. As a money site. From Eric. You don't want to be as keyword heavy, Eric. You just can't get away with as much keyword optimized anchor text. And mix in, like if you're using GSA especially, mix in more general type keywords and generic. You know, for example, if you're going after like Delaware plumbers, make sure you mix in stuff like just plumbers, like, you know, plumbers alone, plumbing, plumbing company. Like without, like, don't have like Delaware in every single anchor text, stuff like that. Like mix in more general stuff. From Slav. Yeah, you can manually update your robots file if you know how to do that, Slav. No problem with that. From Ada. Yeah, I mean, I have PBMs that do have some spammy links on them, and I think that's normal. As long as the high quality links outweigh the spammy links, like there's a good amount more. That's more what I'm worried about, Ada. But if there's like more spammy than high quality, I'll usually skip over it. From Ada. Again, I don't worry as much about PR. I mean, if it has high domain authority and good Alexa rankings, those are good links to me, Ada. Okay. Now, again, don't worry about the name servers of the like that's looking too deep. Like the name servers of the links going to your PBN. Don't don't look that deep into it. Like you're making it too confusing when you go that far. From Slav. If you have 5 hosting accounts. So I mean, as long as you're doing it like we show in the recent video, Slav, you'll be fine. Okay. From Cali. Yeah, as much as possible, Cali, I would start doing that. You know, having again health PBNs going to just health sites. And it's not that general PBNs aren't working. It's that it's more of a risk now from what we're seeing. All right, so I would start theming them if possible. From Neil. I actually haven't messed with the restore thing in the command center yet, Neil. So I'm not sure how that works. All right, but I will be messing with it for sure. Oh, Kevin says Eric means DAS. Yeah, domain authority stacking. That's something that Jimmy Kelly teaches, Eric. So yeah, DAS or DAS is domain authority stacking. It's a trick that Jimmy does. And he'll probably be adding content on that to the OMG area somewhat soon, I would imagine. But right now he has his own course on that. Alright, from Ada. You don't have to worry about any of that, Ada. When you have Social Explosion, they do it all for you. Okay? All you have to do is install Social Explosion, and when you post, it does all the work for you. They have all the accounts set up. You don't have to worry about anything. Alright, so you don't... It doesn't matter what you're doing. They take care of everything else. When you make a post, they do all the social posting and all that. That's why it's such a cool tool. From Ada. Oh, no problem, mate. You can ask as much as you want again. From Bill. Yeah, Bill. Moving forward, that's what I'm going to recommend. Not necessarily even an EMD, just a new domain. EMD or partial EMDs are working really, really good right now. But again, just as for the reason I explained, there's so much change going on, and I feel like they're moving in the direction of tying more relevancy together, at least. I'm just not comfortable recommending using expired domains for money sites anymore. From Priests. I mean, I would be aware of what your money site says, Priest. So, I mean, if you have like a money site where the Whois protection says Perfect Privacy LLC, and the first link you send is from a PBN that says Perfect Privacy LLC, that's something that I would be careful of. So yeah, be aware of what your money site's footprints are as far as like Whois information and hosting. Because even like the host, if you have like a money site on HostGator and the first link comes from HostGator, that might be a flag. So just yeah, be aware of that. From Ryan. Yeah, local citations, I would probably ask that to Fletch Ryan. He has a lot more experience with that than I do. Or you can ask in the Facebook group. That usually gives a quick answer, but I don't want to give you an answer that's wrong. I'd rather someone else answer it for you. From Neil. I mean, it depends how long ago you sent those links, Neil. But it could, I mean, it could just be not not long enough since the links came, or you can just take down the video, upload a new one, and start over. I mean, that's the cool thing about YouTube is it's easy. You know, you can just take down the video, upload a new one. You got a new URL to work with. From Shane. No, no problem with your PBNs just sitting around. Yeah, and check out those videos, the new videos we did, Shane. You know, we went over this in the videos, but you can actually go to Google and just type in like list of hosting companies. And the first link here, whdb.com/provider. There's like 98 hosting providers on here, which you can start with. All right, from Eric. Good question, Eric. I don't know. You know, we don't know exactly how Google is looking at things. I imagine, you know, if you had a good amount of content for each, you could do that. But I would just be careful of it. You know, that's probably something for more experienced people. Me personally, I think it would be better just to get a new site for each topic to be extra safe. But I'm sure it would work, Eric. You know what I mean? So I guess my answer is yeah, I'm sure it would work, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. You know, just to be extra safe. From Callie. Yeah, usually when I do sites, Callie, I just do Google XML Sitemaps plugin in WordPress, and that's all I do. Okay. From Kevin. Usually not, Kevin. Usually I can tell by the links in OpenSite Explorer if it's a good site or not. Like if it's good natural links, that's all I care about. I think OpenSite Explorer does a great job of organizing and listing like the quality of links, and that's why I use them. But now I don't usually even check the other tools. From Kathleen. Kathleen, have you gone through the orientation section yet? I would go through the orientation section. Um, David will give you a good idea of where to start, and I can even tell you you want to get familiar with the supremacy section, learn about PBNs and how to set up PBNs, and also learn about in the sink or swim section like using anchor text and URL combinations. And then once you get that knowledge, I think SEO will start making a lot more sense, and it will make more sense. You'll start getting a better idea what's the right path for you. But until you like figure out like the basics, like how to set up PBNs and how SEO works as far as like passing link juice and anchor text and URL combinations, it's going to be hard for you to make a decision. So start with the orientation and then take it from there. And of course, supremacy section is all about PBNs and the sink or swim section with anchor text and URL combinations. From Slav. No, I guess people get confused on the stringing. Look, stringing is if you have anchor text like this, okay? Each of these links would be from a different PBN, okay? So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 links, these are from 4 different PBNs. The idea is that each of these kind of get strung together by Google, okay? One of these anchor texts says Wilmington, Delaware. One says plumbers. One says plumbing. One says Delaware business. So the idea is they string these anchor texts together, okay? So they can tell the site's about Wilmington, Delaware. It's also about plumbing, plumbers. It's a Delaware business. Okay, we're going to help rank this site for Wilmington, Delaware plumbing. Wilmington, Delaware plumbers. Um, Delaware plumbers. Because we got Delaware in here twice and we got plumbers here. Delaware plumbing. Okay, so it's they string the anchor text you're using together. From Shane. I mean, if they're still ranking, you can sell out the lead, Shane. If not, I would check on the power of the links going to them, and maybe you can use them as PBNs. So it really depends on if they're ranking or not. If they're ranking, I would say use them as money sites and sell leads. But if not, you can use them for PBNs if they have good links going to them. All right, so it really depends on that. From Eric. No. Um, for PBNs, I'm not matching what it was about. Like, if a PBN used to be about politics, I'll still link out. Like, I can retheme that with my content and making it about health. So not necessarily. I mean, if it's relevant, like the links are relevant, like you find a health domain and you're linking to a health domain, that's going to help. But as far as retheming, you can still retheme PBNs fairly safely. Okay, so no, it's not necessarily that you're trying to find all relevant sites. I mean, yeah, that does help, but that'd be really hard to do. Yeah, it's again, and it's more about the content, Eric, that we're talking about with theming. Okay, so you're making the content relevant to whatever you're going to be linking to, the content that you put up. All right, so I'm going to take these last 3 questions here, and then we'll get rolling. So, again, I started a little early because I had something come up, but it looks like we're all caught up on the questions, which is good. So let's see what we got here. Noel. What did I select? I don't remember exactly what you're talking about. No, I've shot so many videos that I don't know exactly which over-the-shoulder video you're talking about and what. send an email to David at omgmachines.com. Let him know exactly what video you're talking about. Then he can pass it on to me, and I can answer, because I don't know what exact video you're talking about or what I did. From Eric. I mean, it's up to you, Eric. Again, it's not that general PBNs aren't working. They still work. Now, I still see people ranking very well using general PBNs, but it seems like Google is catching on to relevance a little more, and it's just a little safer to theme them out. So I mean, if you have general ones, you can leave them general if you want. Just leave them. Or if you want to be extra safe, you can retheme it. Take down, like if there's one particular niche that's more important, you can take down the other topics and leave that niche up and build on it. That's totally up to you what you want to do there. But again, it's not that general PBNs aren't working. It's just we're trying to move away from them. All right. All right. Cool. Yeah. And for the beginner webinar, what we're going to do is my next webinar for any of you beginners that want to get some extra time. When my next webinar is over, we'll go into beginner session where beginners can start asking like very beginner questions, and I can really get you guys some help. So starting in my session next week, we're gonna, like, when my session ends, I'll go deep into beginner type questions when the hour's over. All right. That way, for any of you beginners that are struggling, we can really go deep into the beginner questions. All right, guys, I got to roll. I'm gonna stop this session now, and we'll get going next week. All right. Thanks for coming, and I will see you all soon.